youu here, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some K-pop hot takes and hard to swallow pills. So these are things that K-pop fans need to hear but don't really want to. Please note that these are all just my opinions and my own thoughts. I'm in no way intending to send any hate to any artist or individual. You are more than welcome to disagree. If you do, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Okay, let's get right into it because I've got a lot to say. You can criticize something and still be a fan. This one is so important. I've waited so long to talk about this. As a K-YouTuber, I get so many comments telling me that I'm a hater, I don't like anything, and I should just convert over to Western music because I say I don't like a certain song or a certain thing about K-pop. But the reality is, I'd still find issues with any genre or interest because as a consumer, it is within your rights to critique things fairly, which I always aim to do. And like I mentioned in a video quite a while ago, where I talked about the toxicity of streaming everything by your faves even when you don't like it, criticisms are the only ways that things improve. Not to bring it back to the West, but there is plenty of proof in the media where a wider audience has criticized something and then improved the final product. For example, remember that god-awful first Sonic the Hedgehog design? They listened to the audience when they said they hated it and went back and changed it. The live-action Powerpuff Girls movie, fans got leaks of the poor costuming and bad script, and they halted productions to go back to the drawing board. Fans sometimes think that we are voiceless, but I promise you that's very much not the case. We're relying on them to produce the content, but they're relying on us to purchase it and engage with it. If more people were honest with their opinions on things, within reason of course, who knows what could actually be the outcome of that. Moving on, stop tricking yourselves into thinking that all idols and members of groups are best friends. I recently saw an article where Somi was speaking about her close celebrity friends, and there were tons of comments all saying, why didn't she mention the IOI girls? Because she didn't. Simple as that. I'm not in any way trying to insinuate that I know who Somi or any other K-pop idols are friends with for that matter. Maybe she is still friends with them and just didn't mention them because she wanted to talk about her other friends. But the point is, even if she wasn't close to them anymore, or idols aren't friends with their current or ex-group members, we can't exactly criticize them for it because that's completely natural. Some groups have upwards of 10 plus members, and it's very hard to find that many people who work well and live together and happen to gel and click 100% of the time. They're bound to argue, and it's likely they won't all be proper close. There's different personalities, age differences, different upbringings, and all sorts of other factors that don't necessarily mean that anybody involved is bad or hate each other, and especially it doesn't mean that they should get asked all the time why they aren't friends. In a lot of cases, idols are colleagues first and then maybe friends afterwards if they start to get along from all the time they spend together. It's not usually the other way round unless there's somebody like Wheein and Hwasa from Mamamoo or Zico and Park Hyung of Block B who knew each other beforehand and were already friends. If you were perhaps in like a ballet group or a dance team or a football team, you would not be expected to be friends with every single person on that team. So why would it be the same for idols? Bearing in mind that they live with these people, they train with them all day every day. You are bound to have people you get on with better than others. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing or that you hate each other. It's just people have this expectation in their head that, oh, because I see them interacting in a V-Live, they must be best friends. That's not the case. I hope that makes sense. I'm not trying to burst anyone's bubble, I'm just being honest. Next. Fans are the ones to blame for favoritism, not companies. The whole business world is kind of running on the idea of supply and demand. So the more of something people require or request, the more of something is usually made. I don't want to go too off topic, but think of the recent global pandemonium, if you will. The world needed and asked for more PPE and masks, so more PPE and masks were made. It's not too dissimilar in the K-pop world. The more you talk about a quote-unquote popular idol, whether it be in a good or bad way, the more of them you'll see around. And this is not the idol's fault. Idols are not usually in a position where they can go to their company and ask to have the most lines, the most center time, the most advertising campaigns outside of their work. They are given these things because the fans and sometimes even aunties are giving them enough attention. So yes, it's a company's teams directly choosing to give certain group members more eye-catching looks or longer parts in songs. But they aren't doing this because they personally favor a certain member. They're only doing this because that member is more likely to get them the most attention, and therefore they want to nurture that attention so it continues to grow. I promise you now, most companies do not care if member A, member B, or member C of a group is the most popular member, as long as somebody is bringing in the views, attention, and money. It's always been this way, and that's not going to change anytime soon, but please stop coming for idols all angry if they get the most screen time in an MV or performance, because I'm certain they really can't help that that's happening. Next, If fans let idols be more open about their dating lives, they wouldn't feel so betrayed when idols announce their marriages or pregnancies, etc. We see all the time crazy netizens saying they feel betrayed. I don't get why they use this word. When an idol reveals that they're going to marry their secret long-term partners, fans always say that they feel betrayed and they can't believe that the idol hid the fact that they were in a relationship from them for so long. But why do idols have to hide their relationships? Because this is how fans react when they reveal them. I'll never forget seeing people burn their EXO Chen merch and lining up to protest. Protest what? The fact that your fave is happy? You want to get him removed from the group and ruin his career because he's happy? That's so strange. BVXQ's Changmin saw a huge decline in his most recent album sales compared to the first, and the only difference in this very talented man's life between those two albums is that he married the woman he loves in between. Honestly, it's so sad, but netizens can't complain that they're hurt that idols aren't more honest with us when they get punished for doing so. They are stuck between a rock and a hard place, so what do you expect them to do? If netizens/fans were a bit more accepting of idols when they do announce that they're in relationships, they wouldn't hide them anymore. It's as simple as that. This doesn't even feel like a hot take, it just feels like common sense. And my next point is, not every idol is suitable for a solo career. We're all biased towards our faves, so it's only natural that people say they think insert idol here should be given a solo. But let's be honest, should they really? Always? I don't personally feel every idol has what it takes to release a solo, because there's simply a lot more to it than just being a good singer or good dancer within your group. A soloist needs to have that natural pull to be able to command a stage all by themselves without their group mates. It also helps a lot if they excel in more than just one or two areas. Think of the likes of Taemin from Shiny or J-Hope from BTS, who are natural born performers. They don't look out of place as a soloist, and they don't need 4, 5, 6, 7 or 100 people on stage with them. Some people, however, do excel more as part of a group or a member of a unit, which is completely okay. The X Factor used to do it all the time when people would audition as soloists and then get put in a group. That's how we got the likes of Little Mix, One Direction and Fifth Harmony. I think it's important that we remember this when we're throwing around the idea of giving everyone and their aunts a solo. It's not necessarily going to be suitable for everybody, and that's okay. It's not a negative reflection on them. Some people just excel a lot more in groups than they do individually. Even if it's just having that confidence of knowing that there's somebody on stage with you to make you feel more comfortable. The next one is something that I really want to talk about that I don't think anyone has that I know of. The way idols are scouted who don't voluntarily go to auditions is weird, and we should probably address it more. A lot of idols begin their careers by attending audition after audition to join a company and begin training. However, this is not always the case. Many idols have actually spoken up about how they were scouted in the street, in shopping malls, at coffee shops, in public restrooms, how they were chased and stalked because this random stranger said they were attractive before asking them if they'd like to be a celebrity or a singer. At first glance, this sounds like, oh wow, what a dream, how fun is that? But don't you think it's actually kind of weird? Especially when you consider a lot of these idols and trainees are literally children when this happens to them. I'm not expecting this to ever change, but it is something to think about, especially when so many young hopefuls attend auditions with the hopes of becoming a singer or a dancer, etc. Maybe pay more attention to those people who actually want to attend the auditions rather than wearing down random youngsters in the street. I know we've got lots of great idols this way, and it's great now in hindsight they love what they do, but it's just a very weird way to bring someone into this sort of lifestyle, which, let's face it, we all know is kind of tough and intense. What do you guys think on this one? Because I'd love to hear your thoughts, or if it's just me deeping it, or does anyone else kind of think it's really weird when you think about it? I couldn't imagine having like a 10, 11-year-old daughter and her getting approached by a stranger because someone thinks she's attractive and wants her to be in a group. That's so strange. And lastly for this video, getting attached to produce groups/project groups is self-destructive. I know people are going to immediately say in the comments, some project groups from these shows are permanent, like the likes of Twice. That's great, I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the likes of the produced groups who only get a limited time, like IOI, etc. As fans watching these shows form the groups, we know that they're going to disband the groups once their era is up. That's how the show is advertised, and that's how they keep the idea of these survival shows alive. Each group has got to have a sell-by date of like 18 months to 2 years so they can carry on working with the next group. But I have seen so many people be absolutely devastated when the groups eventually disband, to the point of anger and campaigns for their revival. You're more than welcome to mourn the loss of these groups. You loved them and it's sad that they're gone, but the disbandment should not come as a shock when we all know how cruel the industry is and how these shows work. They do tell us in the beginning that they're going to have a certain length of contract. It's not like they're going to be permanent, and it's like a group you love suddenly disbanding disbanding out of nowhere. These trainees and idols, whether they debuted as part of the final group or not, are still under contract with different labels, so they inevitably have to go back to their original labels eventually, because this is how they continue with their careers or whatever their companies want them to do. We've had a few of those shows that made permanent groups in the end, but the ones that are like survival shows to make project groups, these groups are never a lasting outcome. So people are getting their own feelings hurt by being so upset when these groups disband, when in fact we always knew it was coming and we need to accept it. I'm sorry. Okay guys, and that was it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching if you got this far. I really hope you enjoyed it. I probably could have gone into a lot more detail with these points, but I didn't want this video to drag on for too long. So if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would love to talk about some of these and see what you guys think. If you're new here and haven't yet subscribed, please hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell. That will let you be the first to hear whenever I upload. Also, my social medias will be on screen as always. That's my Twitter and my Instagram. I always follow back fellow K-pop stans, so let's be friends. Okay, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!